At the company anniversary party, my parents decided to give my brother my entire company. Dad clinked his glass and declared to the crowd, "CampSync now belongs 100% to my younger son. He'll take it from here." My brother smirked, nodding like it was already done. Mom leaned in, saying loud enough for everyone to hear, "You need to hand it over, Flynn. It's for the family. My name is Flynn." I built CampSync from nothing in my garage 5 years ago, turning a simple camping booking idea into a business worth millions. That night in Vancouver, Washington, under the patio lights, the employees froze. Investors whispered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't make a scene. I just stepped aside, pulled out my phone, and made one quick call. Less than a minute later, my brother's smirk vanished. He bolted across the deck yelling, "Flynn, what the hell did you just do?" The music stopped. Phones came out. But I was already walking toward the exit, the weight of everything hitting me at once. The next day, my inbox and voicemail overflowed with panic from the people who'd just erased me. They had no idea what was coming. Before I reveal exactly what that call triggered and how it flipped everything they thought they controlled, tap, like if you've ever had your hard work stolen by family, and subscribe with notifications on so you catch every twist until the end. Growing up in Vancouver, Washington, our family lived in a modest ranch house near the Columbia River. I mowed lawns at 12 to buy my first laptop, then flipped burgers after school to pay for online coding courses. Dad worked construction, always complaining about long hours, while Mom handled billing for a local clinic. They told everyone we were a tight unit, but the truth showed early. My brother Jett arrived 4 years after me. From day one, he got the spotlight. When he turned 16, Dad surprised him with a brand new Ford pickup, saying every young man needs reliable wheels. I asked for a used bike to get to my part-time job faster. Dad laughed it off, told me public transit builds toughness. Mom nodded along, adding that Jett had soccer practice across town. I stayed quiet and kept grinding. Nights after shifts, I taught myself Python in the garage, sketching ideas for an app that could simplify family camping trips. Dad called it a hobby, said real money came from steady jobs like his. Mom worried I spent too much time alone, but she never checked what I was building. By 18, I launched CampSync from that same garage setup. Users booked sites, shared gear lists, and rated spots all in one platform. Revenue trickled in from premium features. I reinvested every dollar hiring freelancers to polish the code. Jett, fresh out of community college with a business associates he barely earned, started hanging around the office I rented above a coffee shop. Dad pushed me to give him a role, claiming blood deserves a shot. The favoritism only grew stronger. Jett wanted a trip to Vegas for his 21st birthday. Dad approved a $5,000 advance from CampSync funds, calling it team building. I found the withdrawal in the books and confronted him in the kitchen. He shrugged, said the business owed family loyalty. Mom chimed in, reminding me Jett was struggling after a breakup. I swallowed the anger and focused on growth. CampSync hit 50,000 active users. Investors reached out with pitch decks. I celebrated alone with takeout, texting no one. Meanwhile, Jett posted casino photos, tagging the company handle without permission. Dad liked every picture. Mom commented heart emojis. Jett failed upward, promoted to sales lead, despite missing quotas. Mom bragged to neighbors about his natural charm. Dad funneled more cash into personal debts, listing them as vendor payments. I tracked every transaction, building a paper trail no one suspected. CampSync crossed the 1 million download mark. Press releases went out. Jett took credit in group chats, saying he had pushed the vision. Mom framed the article on the living room wall, cropping my name from the photo. Dad toasted at the Sunday barbecue, glass raised to his younger son's future. I stood in the backyard grill, smoke stinging my eyes, realizing the company I'd poured my life into had become their ATM. Jett demanded a corner office I hadn't even claimed. Dad promised it was coming. Mom smiled, saying sharing builds character. The imbalance wasn't new, but the scale was. Every milestone I hit got reframed as family luck. Every mistake Jett made vanished under excuses. I stopped arguing and started documenting. Quietly, methodically, I prepared for the day they'd push too far. A few months before the anniversary party, Dad missed a payroll deposit. I covered it from my savings to keep staff paid. He thanked me with a pat on the back, then asked Jett to review the budget. Mom suggested I take a vacation, let my brother handle things. I nodded, closed the books, and waited. The garage where it all started now stored old servers and forgotten gear. One evening, I walked through it, running my hand over the desk scarred from late nights. Jett had never spent a single hour there. Dad had never asked how it worked. Mom had never cared. That space held more truth than our house ever did. A venture firm in Seattle offered seed money after seeing traction. I took it, but kept majority control. That cash let me hire my first full-time employee, a developer who optimized the search algorithm. Word spread in outdoor forums. Families planned weekends without spreadsheets. I brought on Isaac as CFO after he left a logistics startup. He walked in with spreadsheets and a no-nonsense attitude, spotting tax credits I'd missed. "You're sitting on deductions," he said during the interview, pointing at my messy notes. I hired him on the spot. He cleaned the books, set up proper payroll, and kept investors happy with clear reports. CampSync crossed 500,000 users in 18 months. National parks integrated our API. Revenue hit 7 figures. I expanded the team to 15, renting an office with windows overlooking the river. Isaac negotiated better server deals, saving thousands monthly. Dad started visiting more often. He'd wander in, coffee in hand, asking about the numbers. Jett tagged along, wearing sneakers that cost more than my first server. Dad suggested putting Jett on payroll. "He needs experience," he said. I created a marketing coordinator role, low pressure. Dad called me into the conference room one afternoon. "Family should own family business," he said, sliding a document across the table. It proposed diluting my shares to give Jett 30%. Mom sat beside him, nodding. "It's only fair," she added. I read the terms, vesting over 10 years but immediate voting rights. I pushed back. "The company runs on my code and decisions." Dad leaned forward. "You wouldn't have this without us raising you." Mom mentioned Jett's student loans, saying he needed stability. I left the room without signing. Jett's performance worsened. He missed deadlines for a national park rollout. When the client threatened to pull out, he blamed the dev team. Isaac documented every email. Jett fired 2 engineers in a group chat, claiming redundancy. They were the ones carrying the load. I reversed the terminations and paid severance from my pocket. Dad heard about it and called me that night. "You're embarrassing your brother," he said. Mom got on the line, asking why I couldn't mentor Jett instead of fighting him. I hung up, stared at the ceiling, and updated the employee handbook. CampSync reached 1 million users during peak summer. The app topped travel charts. Press interviews came in. I let Isaac handle most, staying behind the scenes. Jett posed for photos in company swag, posting captions about leading growth. Dad shared every post. Jett scheduled team outings on launch days, pulling staff from critical updates. One site crashed for 6 hours. Users flooded support. I fixed it manually while Jett partied. Isaac ran damage control with partners. Dad demanded another meeting. This time he wanted 40% for Jett, citing emotional investment. Mom brought homemade cookies as if sugar could sweeten the deal. I refused again. Dad left, muttering about gratitude. Isaac flagged irregular expenses, hotels, meals, all under Jett's card. I audited the statements. Dad had charged construction tools to the company. I separated personal from business accounts, locked vendor access. Jett confronted me in the break room. "You're making me look bad," he said. I showed him the receipts. He stormed out. Mom texted later, asking me to apologize for hurting his feelings. The anniversary party loomed. I planned it as a thank you to the team. Dad insisted on speaking. I agreed, thinking it would stay light. Isaac reviewed the guest list, raising an eyebrow at all the family plus ones. Revenue projections looked strong. New features rolled out smoothly. Users loved the gear-sharing marketplace. Isaac modeled 5-year growth, showing massive valuation potential. Dad kept pushing the share transfer. He left voicemails about legacy. Mom sent articles about family businesses thriving together. I archived them. Jett skipped the final prep meeting, texting that he had networking. Isaac covered his slides. The team noticed. Morale dipped. I scheduled one-on-ones and boosted bonuses from profits. Dad cornered me in the hallway. Sign the papers or we do this the hard way. Mom waited by the elevator holding a folder. I walked past without a word. The party setup began. Tents went up in the lot. Catering arrived. I reviewed my speech, The evening arrived. Guests filled the office lot. String lights overhead tables loaded with barbecue. Employees mingled with investors' demo stations running the latest features. Isaac circulated with a tablet collecting feedback on the new map layer. Jett hovered near the bar phone out live streaming to his followers. Dad took the mic near the main tent. He cleared his throat, smiled wide. 5 years ago, this company started as a family dream he began. The crowd quieted. Mom stood beside him, hands clasped. Tonight, we make it official. CampSync transfers fully to Jett. He'll lead us forward. Murmurs rippled. Investors exchanged glances. One partner pulled out his phone. I stepped forward from the edge of the group, heart steady. That's not happening, I said, voice clear over the speakers. Dad's smile faltered. Jett lowered his drink. Dad gripped the mic tighter. This is decided. Sign the papers, Flynn. He gestured to a folder on the podium. Mom nodded vigorously. It's time, she added. Employees shifted uncomfortably. Isaac stopped mid-conversation, eyes on me. I walked closer. The operating agreement requires my approval for any transfer. Dad's face reddened. You don't get to dictate family matters. Jett smirked again, stepping up. Just do it, man. Everyone's watching. I looked at the staff who'd built this with me, the developers who pulled all-nighters, the support reps handling thousands of tickets. This company belongs to the people who earned it, I said. Dad cut me off. You're out of line. Mom tried softening. Think of your brother. I met her eyes. I have for years. Dad slammed the folder down. We're finished with you. The words hung heavy. Jett chuckled under his breath. I pulled out my phone, held it up. Got it. One word. No argument. No plea. I turned, walked through the parting crowd past the demo booths out to the parking area. Isaac followed a few steps, but I waved him off. My truck sat under a street lamp. I climbed in, started the engine, and drove off without looking back. The party noise faded behind me. I blocked Dad's number first, then Mom's, then Jett's. Deleted the family group chat. Turned off notifications for company email on personal devices. At home, I packed a duffel with essentials. Laptop chargers, a few changes of clothes. I left the house keys on the counter. My name wasn't on the lease anyway. Drove to a short-term rental across town, paid cash for the first month. Next morning, I changed my phone plan to a new number. Forwarded only work contacts. Isaac texted the old line, board wants emergency meeting. I replied from the new one, schedule it. No mention of family. I stopped checking social media. Jett posted clips from the party captioning victory. Dad commented pride emojis. Mom shared the announcement graphic. I didn't engage. Work emails piled up. Investors demanded clarity on ownership. I drafted a statement with legal, sent it out. No changes until reviewed. Staff asked questions in Slack. I answered directly, focused on operations. Dad tried the office landline. Reception transferred to voicemail. He left messages about talking it out. I deleted them unheard. Mom emailed from her personal account, subject line, please call. Archived. Jett showed up at the rental complex gate, buzzing the intercom. Security turned him away. He yelled through the speaker about betrayal. I watched on the camera feed, then muted the system. I rerouted all company mail to a P.O. box, changed billing addresses, updated bank signers to remove any family access. Isaac handled the paperwork, no questions beyond procedure. Days blurred. I slept in the rental, worked from coffee shops, kept the team running remotely. Features shipped on schedule. User growth continued. No one outside the core knew where I stayed. Dad drove by the old house once, slowed down, then left. Mom left a casserole on the porch with a note. I donated it, unopened. Jett messaged mutual friends asking for my location. They stayed loyal. I cut every tie clean. No forwarding address. No shared accounts. No holiday plans. The silence felt final. Isaac scheduled the board call. Agenda, stability, and leadership. I prepared slides on performance metrics. No family drama included. The rental lease extended month to month. I bought groceries with cash, avoided familiar stores. Life simplified to code and strategy. Dad's truck appeared in the office lot one afternoon. Security escorted him out. He shouted my name across the pavement. I watched from an upper window, then closed the blinds. Contact stopped after that. No more calls, no texts, no drive-bys. I enforced the boundary without explanation. The company operated smoothly under interim protocols. Isaac managed finances day to day. I approved major decisions remotely. Weeks passed in isolation. Focus sharpened. Distractions gone. Then I reached out. I texted Isaac from the burner phone I'd bought at a gas station. Meet at the diner on 4th. 10 minutes. He replied instantly. On my way. I arrived first, took a booth in the back. Isaac slid in across from me, tie loosened, folder in hand. Jett fired me yesterday, he said flat. Cited budget cuts. I nodded. He can't. I slid the operating agreement across the table, open to the page I'd added 2 years earlier. Founder protection clause triggered only by majority owner removal attempt. It froze all admin access, locked financials, required dual authentication from original signers. You're the second signer, I told him. Isaac scanned the text, eyes narrowing. This reverts control to you, if breached. I confirmed. Activate it now. He pulled his laptop, connected to the diner Wi-Fi, entered his credentials. I input mine from memory. The clause engaged. Server logs showed immediate lockdown. Cloud dashboards went red only. Payment processors flagged unauthorized changes. Jett's login bounced with an error code. Isaac monitored the back end. He's trying root access from the office IP. Attempts piled up, failed. I watched the counter climb. Keep him out. Staff Slack exploded. Engineers reported database restrictions. Marketing couldn't push updates. Support tickets backed up without resolution tools. Jett messaged the leadership channel. What's going on? No one had answers. I instructed Isaac to route emergency protocols. Critical systems stayed live for users. Bookings processed, maps loaded. Internal ops halted. Payroll queued but unapproved. Jett called the hosting provider demanding override. They required board resolution. He didn't have it. Panic set in. He rallied remaining managers, promised fixes soon. Isaac forwarded me vendor alerts. Bank transfers frozen pending verification. Ad accounts suspended for signature mismatch. Partners emailed confusion over contract continuity. I drafted a company-wide memo from a neutral address, temporary security protocol in effect. Operations continue for customers. Await further instructions. Sent it to all employees. Jett tried physical access. Security badges deactivated for non-essential personnel. He banged on the glass doors, yelling for entry. Guards held the line. Isaac pulled transaction history. Jett had initiated a wire for $50,000 to a personal account that morning. The clause blocked it mid-process. Funds returned to company holdings. Board members phoned Isaac directly. He explained the legal trigger, cited the clause. They requested documentation. He emailed the signed agreement, redacted sensitive sections. Jett posted on the company LinkedIn technical glitch resolved shortly. Users didn't notice app functioned fine. Internal chaos grew. Deadlines missed. Client calls unanswered. I set up a parallel server instance overnight. Mirrored production data isolated from the lock. Isaac migrated essential functions. Team leads received new logins via encrypted links. Jett convened an impromptu town hall in the lobby, promised bonuses if staff stayed loyal. No one clapped. Engineers checked personal emails for my memo. Isaac flagged expense reports. Jett submitted post-firing flights. Hotels all denied reimbursement. Accounting froze his card. The lockdown held firm. No breaches. Jett's attempts slowed, then stopped. He left the building, tires screeching. I reviewed user metrics. Downtime 0 for customers. Revenue stable. The clause worked exactly as designed. Isaac texted updates hourly. Staff morale mixed, some scared, others relieved. I authorized remote work continuation. Jett tried contacting investors individually. Most deferred to legal. One demanded an audit. Isaac scheduled it neutrally. I slept 4 hours, woke to more alerts. Attempted password resets from Jett's home IP. All denied. The company teetered but didn't fall. Users booked sites unaware. Partners waited on hold. Isaac compiled a breach report. Time-stamped every failed login, ready for any challenge. Control shifted quietly. No announcements, no drama, just code and contracts doing their job. The office sat half empty, lights on timers, phones ringing to voicemail. Jett lost all admin rights the moment the clause locked in. He stared at his laptop in the empty office, the refresh button useless, no dashboards, no emails, no control panel. 3 weeks later, Dad received a certified letter from the IRS, an audit on CampSync's business expenses, construction materials, personal trips, vehicle repairs, misreported total $250,000. Penalties grew daily. Mom opened the mail at the kitchen table. Her face went pale. Dad grabbed the paper, read it, then crumpled it. "This is Flynn's doing," he muttered. They hired a tax attorney on credit. Jett tried rallying investors for a buyout. Meetings canceled one by one. Without leadership access, the valuation plummeted. The stock options he'd bragged about became worthless paper. 4 months in the house went on the market. Mom staged it herself, removed family photos, baked cookies for open houses. Offers came in low. With the audit lien attached, they accepted $70,000 below, asking just to cover the first IRS payment. Dad liquidated his retirement early, taking a 10% hit. The accountant warned more audits might follow. Jett applied for unemployment, denied, fired for cause after the layoff spree. He signed up for Amazon Flex, loading his old pickup with packages delivering to the same neighborhoods where he once networked. Mom found part-time work at a clinic front desk. Fewer hours, less paid, just enough for rent and utilities. Dad started selling tools from his garage online. Buyers haggled. He took whatever cash they offered and wired it to the attorney. Jett worked nights to avoid traffic, scanning barcodes, dodging dogs leaving boxes on porches. Tips were rare. Gas ate half his earnings. The IRS hearing came. Dad wore his only suit. The agent laid out bank statements highlighting transfers to personal accounts. Dad claimed ignorance. The agent pointed out patterns across years. Mom packed the house alone boxes labeled kitchen, bedroom, donate. She dropped furniture at consignment shops. Most of it didn't sell. Checks bounced. Jett's truck broke down. Repairs required cash up front. He skipped them, praying it held together. His delivery ratings dropped below 4 stars. Dad's credit score tanked. Cards maxed, then closed. He pawned his father's old watch for $200. Mom canceled cable, switched to library Wi-Fi, and cooked bulk meals, rice, beans, chicken when discounted. When Jett missed a delivery window, his account was suspended for 24 hours. No income that day. He sat in the parking lot, engine idling, staring at the app's gray inactive icon. The audit widened. The IRS subpoenaed company records. Isaac's files were spotless, leaving Dad's name on every questionable line. Settlement offer $180,000 plus interest. Mom sold her car and started taking the bus. Dad walked to small job sites, picking up day labor when available. Jett reactivated and took on harder routes, pushing through back pain and exhaustion. Customers complained about late packages. Closing day on the house arrived. Mom signed papers with shaking hands. The buyer paid cash, no contingencies. They loaded a U-Haul with what was left: clothes, dishes, tools. Dad carried the last box, looked back at the empty rooms, then locked the door for the final time. They moved into a one-bedroom apartment. Jett slept on an air mattress. Mom kept a grocery list on the fridge, every item calculated. No eating out, no extras. Dad attended credit counseling, enrolling in a payment plan. Monthly checks to the IRS left nothing for emergencies. Jett's flex earnings averaged $900 a week before gas. Rent took half, food the rest. Savings zero. The family met once at a fast food table. Dad outlined the numbers. Mom cried quietly. Jett scrolled his phone, avoiding eye contact. There were no solutions. Months passed. The IRS audit finally closed after the final payment. Dad's record remained flagged for 7 years. Mom took double shifts when the clinic was short-staffed. Her feet swelled, but the bills were paid. Jett switched to early morning routes, fewer complaints, steadier work. His muscles adapted. His mind went numb. Dad aged fast, hair gray, posture bent. He stopped talking about legacy and family business. Conversations shrank to bills, bus schedules, cheap groceries. Mom learned to stretch every dollar. She shopped clearance racks, froze leftovers, clipped coupons with quiet precision. Jett kept driving day after day. He no longer checked earnings reports, just miles and gas. Once he passed a billboard for CampSync's new partnership under different leadership. He stared at it too long, missed a turn, and had to circle back. Mom came home late one night with blisters on her hands from unpacking supply boxes. Dad waited at the kitchen table, sorting receipts, calculating interest. "We're almost clear," he said softly. She nodded without looking up. Their apartment stayed quiet. The TV long gone, replaced by a humming old fan. By winter, Dad's payment plan finished its first year. He hadn't missed one. His credit was still low but stable. Mom found small comfort in routine early bus rides, warm thermos coffee, the same walk home. Jett rarely spoke at dinner. He ate quickly, checked delivery schedules, and left again before sunrise. CampSync thrived under new management, expanded internationally, landed federal contracts, and raised Series C funding. Articles called it a model of resilience and discipline. Flynn's name appeared as founder, still majority shareholder. None of them mentioned it aloud, but the silence carried its echo. Dad started volunteering at a community repair shop on weekends, fixing old electronics for neighbors. "Keeps my hands busy," he said. Mom saved up enough for a used laptop, took online bookkeeping classes. "Something steady," she told Jett. He nodded, barely listening, scrolling through the Flex Driver app. By spring, the family had learned to survive, not comfortably, but quietly. Bills were met, debts shrinking, no more collection calls. Jett kept driving. Miles blurred, towns blurred, weeks disappeared. The roar of engines replaced the noise of ambition. Mom smiled more often, tired but lighter. Dad talked about planting herbs on the apartment balcony come summer. And though no one said it, they all knew the truth. What began as greed ended in exhaustion. The empire they tried to steal had rebuilt itself without them. All that remained was work, silence, and the long road ahead. They reached out again. Mom texted from an unknown number first. "We're struggling. Please help with the IRS." I read it in a parking lot, deleted the thread. She tried again the next day. "Your brother needs you." Blocked. Dad left voicemails on the company line. "You'll hear from my lawyer." This isn't over. He repeated the threat in 3 messages, voice rising each time. Isaac forwarded them to counsel. No suit filed. Jett uploaded a TikTok from his truck cab. Filmed in portrait packages stacked behind. My own blood stole everything. Family traitor. Caption, Catchush betrayed, bye brother. Views hit 50,000 overnight. Comments split, some called him out, others sent hate my way. Mom emailed a photo of the sold house sign. Subject, look what you did. Body, we're in an apartment now. I archived it. Dad contacted a local attorney, paid a retainer with the last credit card. Lawyer requested documents. Isaac sent the operating agreement clause, highlighted. Attorney advised against proceeding. Dad ignored, demanded settlement talks. Jett posted follow-ups. One showed his Flex app earnings. This is what greed does. Another tagged the old company handle. Algorithm pushed it to former users. Engagement spiked. Mom joined a Facebook group for audit victims. Shared their story anonymously, hinted at corporate sabotage by relative. Moderators removed for doxing risk. Dad appeared on a podcast about small business failures. Blamed internal theft by founder. Host asked for proof. Dad dodged plugged Jett's TikTok. Downloads temporary boost for the video. Isaac compiled a cease and desist package. Included login attempts, expense fraud, Satai records. Mailed certified to Dad's new address. Return receipt signed by Mom. Jett live-streamed a delivery route. Ranted between stops. He locked me out. Stole my future. Viewers tipped small amounts. He thanked them, promised more truth. Mom sent a handwritten letter via regular mail. Arrived at the P.O. box. We raised you better. Enclosed a childhood photo. I shredded both. Dad filed a small claims case for emotional damages. Court dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, business matter. He appealed to Superior Court. Judge denied. Jett collaborated with an influencer. Joint video, How Family Destroys Dreams. Reached 200,000 views. Brands distanced from old CampSync mentions. Isaac monitored online chatter. Flagged defamation to platforms. TikTok removed 1 video for harassment policy. Jett reposted edited version. Mom called the office main line. Reception patched to voicemail. Pick up Flynn, we can fix this. Deleted unheard. Dad emailed investors directly. Attached a narrative of hostile takeover. Most replied, seeking my side. Isaac responded with facts. Support held. Jett started a GoFundMe. Goal legal fees against corporate bully. Raised $3,000 from strangers. Withdrew for truck payment. Isaac prepared a full evidence binder. Bank wires, board minutes clause, activation logs. Ready for any escalation. Mom posted on neighborhood app. Asked for odd jobs. Responses trickled, dog walking errands. She accepted what fit her schedule. Dad threatened media exposure. Contacted a local reporter. Story pitched as family feud. Editor passed, lacked public interest. Jett's videos slowed. Views plateaued. He shifted to flex tips content. Audience retained some. Isaac updated me weekly. No active lawsuits. Online noise fading. Mom tried one last text from Jett's phone. Dad's health declining. Your fault. I reported the number as spam. Dad left a final voicemail. You win this round. Tone defeated. No callback. Jett deleted the original betrayal video. Replaced with neutral delivery vlog. Comments still reference the drama. Isaac archived all correspondence. Labeled for future reference. Pressure eased. Attempts stopped. Life moved forward. CampSync relocated to a sleek building on the waterfront. Glass walls, open layout team doubled in size. I walk the floor daily, high-fived developers, shipping updates, reviewed metrics and stand-ups. Revenue crossed 8 figures. Users hit 5 million. National park chains renewed contracts. International expansion launched in Canada first. Isaac managed the finances with precision forecasting acquisitions. I mentored new hires personally, shared code reviews, hosted lunch and learns, built a culture where effort earned equity. No favoritism, no exceptions. The postcard arrived at the new P.O. box. Handwritten front, "We're sorry." Inside, a generic apology, no signature. Postmark from the old neighborhood. I held it under the lobby. Light felt the cheap cardstock. Tore it in half, then quarters. Dropped the pieces in the recycling bin by the elevator. No hesitation. A text buzzed from an unfamiliar area code. "Can we talk?" I blocked the number instantly. Added to the filter list Isaac maintained. CampSync topped App Store rankings again. Press called for interviews. I accepted one focused on product vision. No personal questions answered. Team offsites became tradition. Kayak trips on the river, strategy sessions in cabins. Bonds formed over shared goals. Isaac proposed an employee stock plan, approved unanimously. Ownership distributed fairly. I bought a condo downtown. Minimal furniture, big windows. Cooked simple meals, ran along the water at dawn. Investors funded Series B. Valuation soared. I retained controlling shares. A mutual acquaintance forwarded Jett's latest profile, still delivering posting route hacks. I didn't click. CampSync partnered with gear brands. Bundled rentals in-app. Revenue streams diversified. I spoke at a startup conference. Audience asked about resilience. I said preparation meets opportunity. No family mentions. The team surprised me with a plaque on the 5th relocation anniversary. Engraved, built on code and trust. Hung it in the lobby. Isaac handled all legacy correspondence, shredded anything addressed to me. I volunteered coding workshops for local kids, taught basics, encouraged curiosity. CampSync launched a nonprofit arm, donated premium access to under-resourced areas. Board meetings ran efficiently, decisions data-driven, growth sustainable. I traveled for partnerships, met founders worldwide, exchanged ideas, no baggage. The filter caught another attempt. Email from mom's old address. Subject, "Thinking of you," auto-deleted. CampSync hit 10 million users, celebrated with a company-wide hike. No speeches, just trail mix and views. Isaac retired his emergency binder. Filed in archives. I stood on the office balcony one evening. City lights reflected on the water. Phone silent. Family isn't blood, it's respect. Build your own table.